Hi everyone, my name is David Rao and I'm the music teacher who blogs at makemomentsmatter.org. You can also find my ideas on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and a variety of other places when you search for my name, David Rao, or Make Moments Matter. I'm really excited to be sharing tonight. I'm going to share a little bit tonight about all of my kindergarten through 5th grade lessons for the week, and then I'm going to do a deep dive on my 1st grade lessons and share with you the process of how I teach this. I'll just give a disclaimer that I'm going into, I'm in the middle of a concert cycle with 1st grade, and so we're really pushing towards learning those songs without realizing we're learning those songs. So I'll talk a little bit about my concert prep for that grade when we get there. But before I get into my lessons for the week, I just want to share a couple quick things. I'm really excited because this Thursday night I'm flying out, but Texas Music Educators Association is this week, and Friday morning I'm presenting at TMEA, and so I'm flying out on Thursday night, I'm presenting Friday, and then I get to stay through till Saturday. So I hope that I get to see a lot of you there. If you're in Texas and you're going to be at TMEA, please, if you see me, come say hi, because I know like 3 people in Texas, and I'm gonna plan to see them, but I would love to make lots of new friends at TMEA. So if you see me there, please come and say hi. And if you do have free time in your schedule, my session is Friday morning at 10 a.m. in the Texas Ballroom. I think that's in the Hyatt. I don't know. I've never been to TMEA, so I'm learning all this stuff. But that info, I'm sure I'll put more out this week. But if you're in Texas, you're at TMEA, please come and see me. And then I'll also be hanging out a little bit at the West booth, the West Music booth on Friday and maybe part of Saturday. So let's hang out. If you see me, please say hi. I'll probably be wandering around lost. I'm told everything is bigger in Texas, and I'll be lost there. One fun thing that I'm going to try and do at TMEA is do a fun giveaway. And I've never used the software that I'm going to use for the giveaway. So I figured, why not do a giveaway with y'all tonight and try it out. And then some of you can be door prize winners. And I can sort of see if it works. So I'm really sorry if you're watching this video like a couple months out and you're like, oh man, because the giveaway is tonight only. And I'm sorry also if you're listening on the podcast like a day or two later, because the giveaway is only tonight. So if you're watching on Facebook, they're in the link for the comments, the caption down. If you scroll down a little bit, there will be a bit.ly link. And if you're watching on Instagram, if you go to my link in profile, you can search, or you can click the top as the bit.ly link, or else you could just get on an internet enabled device and go to bit.ly/ all lowercase MUSMON211 to enter. And like I said, that is only for this hour. So maybe you want to navigate away so that you can enter the giveaway and then come back. I don't know. But the giveaway is tonight only. So go and check that out. But that's, like I said, that's linked in both places, Instagram and Facebook. And also, you can just get on the internet and type it out. Like I said, that's bit.ly/ all lowercase MUSMON for Musical Monday, MUSMON211. So we'll see if it works. I don't know if it's going to work, which is why I'm going to try it tonight. Okay, so let me get into my lesson plans for the week, and I'm going to share all of my kindergarten through 5th grade lessons for the week, talk a little bit about the process that I use for each of those, give you that overview, and then I'm going to jump into my 1st grade lessons and give you a deep dive into that. And I will tell you that King Frog is going to be making a cameo. So stick around for the 1st grade lessons because you're not going to want to miss that. And as always, please leave comments and questions. Your comments and questions are really helpful because they help people who maybe also have those questions sort of get them out there. And it's really cool when y'all dialogue together and you comment on each other's comments and comment on the questions and everything. It's great to have, I can try and answer those questions, but it's great to have you all comment so that it feels more like a community. Okay, so I'm going to get going on my lessons. And like I said, questions and comments along the way, I really appreciate those. So quick run through my lessons. Kindergarten, we're sort of doing a continuation of what we've done in the last few weeks. They come in, we do our circle song. We're focusing on So Me. So we're doing a lot of sort of So Me songs and So Me intervals to begin with. We're singing back our names on the So Me interval. So, hello, Jordan. Hello, Mr. Rao. Hello, Aiden, because we all have 1,000 Aidens. Hello, Mr. Rao. You know, hello Samir, hello Mr. Rouse. So they get to sing back to me on the so me interval. We do, in the last time I talked about my lessons, I talked about the Fish, Fish, Little Fish song, which my octopus puppet comes out and introduces. And this is fun because the kids all get to use the little finger puppets that I have. And I've done a whole video about that, that process of the Fish, Fish, Little Fish song, the introduction. What happens in this lesson is that we take that song and we do a circle game. I've done a blog post about this, but there's just a little circle game I made up where they walk around behind someone, and when they get to the end of the song, instead of like tapping and running like a lot of circle games, they get to lean over and go like a shark and chomp the kid who's sitting down, and then that kid gets to lead the line and be the head shark, and then chomp someone, and then the new kid gets to be head shark and lead them, and it's sort of a fun process. So we do that little circle game, and then we do one of my favorite lessons of all time. We read a book by Robert Munch called Mortimer, and if you've never read Mortimer, it is a hilarious little book. Super funny book about a kid who's supposed to go to bed, doesn't want to go to bed. But what happens with Mortimer is, you know, the parents go up the stairs and then down the stairs and up the stairs and down the stairs. And so in this lesson, we read the book and then we transfer that to pitched percussion instruments. We've been doing the up the hill, down the hill with Jack and Jill. And so this is an obvious sort of segue to another going up and going down. And I'm really pressing that kids sort of realize that going from bigger bars to smaller bars is up, and then smaller to bigger is down. And I even prop up the high side of the instrument. So if it's a xylophone or a glockenspiel, I put a couple books under it or something under it so that that part is actually physically higher, so they feel like they're going up the steps and then down the steps. I know people have those step bells, like the red wooden step bells, and those would be perfect for this, like absolutely perfect, but I don't have a set of those. Sort of sad about that, but those would be absolutely perfect. So to replicate that, I'm just tipping up my instruments. And then if we have time at the end of the lesson, which doesn't always happen, but if we have time, we do Jack and Jill again, but I bring out the contrabass bar. We do Jack and Jill like once or twice. I bring out the contrabass bar. We compare how the bar is the same as the bars on the xylophones. And then I pull out the huge contrabass mallet, which I call Big Tom, because the little mallets are Jack and Jill, and so the huge one is Big Tom. And Big Tom plays the really big bar, and they think that is amazing. And before I play Big Tom on the huge bar, you know, I do a little bit of a critical thing when we talk about compare and contrast and what do you think it's going to sound like, you know, because we'd played soprano and alto xylophones, and we compared and contrasted the large and small there. And so we compare and contrast sort of before we play the contrabass bar, what we think it's going to sound like. And then that leads to, you know, good predictions. And then we actually play it and decide whether our predictions were correct. That's just a critical thinking process and skill, but it's something that hopefully they'll carry back with them to their classroom. And it's super fun and not hard to lead them through. So we do that. I'm going to move this down a little bit. There we go. So that's kindergarten. I'm going to skip over first grade because I'm going to actually do my deep dive into first grade, so I won't do my run through of that. Second grade is also on a concert cycle. We're preparing for our concert, which I think I'm going to call Commotion in the Ocean. There's a fun book called Commotion in the Ocean, and I'm going to suggest that parents buy that and read that at home. But we're not going to really base any songs off that. I just think it's a fun sort of catchy title. So I think that's where we're going to go. If you have a better idea, please leave that, and I will, you know, if it's better than Commotion in the Ocean, we'll go with it. But we do the folk song from Newfoundland, I's the By that built the boat, I's the By that sailed it. It's a super fun little song. And at this point, I talked about this before, but at this point we are doing some partner sort of dance, and it's sort of a circle, sort of a partner dance where they promenade a little bit at the end. But my hope is that eventually we'll be able to add in a stretchy band and add in a parachute. And my final form would be, we sing it 4 times. The first time the kids in the middle of the gym do the partner dance. The second time the kids on the stretchy band demo. The third time the kids on the parachute demo. The fourth time through, all 3 of them go at the same time and do their own individual actions at the same time. And hopefully that will look super cool. We'll see. Then I'm pulling back a song I did in the fall, Down the River. The river is up, the channel is deep, the wind is steady and strong. It's a fun little song. It's got an easy dance, but something was a little bit tricky for them at first. And I'm pulling that back out. I already taught it in the fall, knowing I would do an ocean program. And so I'm using that. I'm using that again for this concert, because why reteach if you don't have to? Because I don't have a lot of time. So we do Down the River, we scatter out, we do our little pirate song, and then I'm taking Larry the Lobster, which is from Lynn Kleiner's book, SOS Songs of the Sea. And if you don't have any of Lynn Kleiner's books, they are amazing books. Lynn Kleiner is the person behind the company Music Rhapsody, and her books are fabulous. And so this one comes from Songs of the Sea, which was the very first book that I purchased of hers. It has a lot of great songs. Actually, Eyes the Buy, the version we're using, is from her book. And so we're taking Larry the Lobster and we're sort of making it our own. So we're learning the basic version, and then eventually they will be doing the crab walk. And at, well, 1 or 2 classes will be doing the crab walk. And at one point it goes, look out, Larry, here comes a shark. Here comes a shark. Run, run, Larry, run. And so they're going to run crab walk style, which I realize is not lobster, but they're 2nd grade and it's close enough. it's going to look super cute. So I'm going to have some kids doing the crab walk and some kids with scarves trying to be the water, trying to hide Larry from the shark. So that's my hope. But if you don't have Lynn Kleiner's book, SOS Songs of the Sea, you should check it out. I actually put in the links for this video. And there's another book that I put in there because 1st grade, I'm pulling a couple of her songs for our farm program. There's a book of hers called Farm Songs. So if you don't have that one, check that one out too. But all of her books are fabulous. And if you're going to be at a convention this spring, like a music ed, like Ohio Music Educators, Texas Music Educators, Indiana, Ohio and Indiana are already over. But if you're going to go to another one or be at a place where you can check out the book, like go through and look through some of the songs. They're really great, and there's a CD accompaniment in there. 3rd grade, we're really building on what we've done. And so we do all of Old Brass Wagon. And the reason that I spend time doing Old Brass Wagon again is because this is only really our 3rd time here. And our 3rd time doing this song. And I want to see if they remember the sequence, because there are really 5 verses and it's a longer sequence. So I want them to try that. So circle to the left, circle to the right, in and out. And then the 2 new things for them, swing your partner in do-si-do. And so I want to see, in the last lesson we learned swing your partner and we learned do-si-do. So I want to see if they remember how to do that, and I want to see how they do it. So we just sort of run through, do a quick remember, and then do that once. We sit down and we go to the Note Neighborhood again. One of the things that I don't think everyone knows about the Note Neighborhood files that I've made is that if you have the Note Neighborhood, for each concept, you get an introduction and a practice PowerPoint, which are separate. So the introduction for 16th notes is they go to the 4-square court, or they go to the tennis court and they play and they introduce, and the kids sort of learn what the 16th note is all about. In the practice, this is maybe my favorite one because I found like the world's cutest clip art of food trucks. And so they go to a food truck festival and they stand in line and they read, and then, oh my gosh, another food truck pulled up. And so then there's another line. So basically what happens is they read and remember how a 16th note works. They read it in context of 2 different measures. So they're reading this line that's leading up to the taco truck, and then pulls up a pizza truck. So there's the taco truck line and a pizza truck line. So now they're reading 2 lines. So that's 4 measures. And then surprise, a donut truck pulls up. So then they have really 3 lines of rhythms that they have to read, which is 6 measures. And it's just slowly adds up. It's really scaffolding in those 16th notes and those things they need to learn. And in this lesson, we get to talk about the bar line and the double bar line at the end, because we don't always talk about that. And so I make it a point to talk about that in this lesson. We sort of zoom through the taco truck, the practice PowerPoint, and then in the time at the end, we pull out the whiteboards, which we had only done for the first time in our previous lesson. We pull out the whiteboards and we remember how to make all the notes, and then I give them challenges. In the previous lesson, we didn't really have a ton of time to do challenges. And so what I do in this one is I'll say, okay, I'm gonna do it in stick notation and you need to do it in standard notation. That's super easy because all they really have to do is just copy down and then put on note heads, right? So then I'll do something like, okay, I'm gonna do a measure, and we've talked about measure has 4 beats in it. because we're doing 4/4 times. So it has 4 beats in it. So a ta is a beat, a takadimi is a beat. A half note gets 2 beats. And a rest is a beat, but it's a beat of silence. And we do this action, a beat of silence. And so what I do then is I say, okay, remember this measure has 4 beats. And I'm gonna put in a quarter note and a quarter rest. And you have to decide how much of it is left and what can fit there. So the first time we do that, I usually say like, okay, a quarter note's 1 beat, a quarter rest is 1 beat, so 1 + 1 is 2. And you have to have 4. So how many beats are left? And they say 2. I'm like, great. So you could put in a half note, or you could put in a half rest, or you could put in a quarter note and another quarter note, or you could put in 2 quarter rests, or you could put in a quarter note and a quarter rest, or you could put in eighth notes and a quarter note, and I just go through a lot of different options so they realize what they can do. And I'm intentional about talking through that, because then in the next example, I'll give them something trickier, like 3 empty beats or a whole measure of empty beats. And I want them to be creative and play around with what they can put in those spaces. But this is tricky for them because they're having to think about in their head, what is available and how much space do I have? And then how do I physically create it? Because they're not super great at creating the notes and rests yet. Like, they're pretty good, but it's just a lot of tasks at once. And so the whole process is a really valuable process for them, and it's getting them to think in sort of new and interesting ways. So I love this lesson. And if we have extra time, you can go as far as you want. You could have a kid say to another kid, okay, here's your rhythm. Or you could have them switch boards and check to make sure they've got everything correct. I mean, there's so much you can do with that lesson going forward. And then 4th and 5th grade, like I said, in the past couple weeks, they've been doing the exact same thing, which I don't ever really usually do. I don't double up for grades because I have an 8 school day rotation and I get really bored with lessons by like the 8th day. So to double up those lessons and teach them 16 times over the course of 8 school days is really tedious. But also, I just want kids to have different material things that they're working with. And I want it to build. So what they've learned in 4th grade, I want to build on that in 5th grade. So I don't usually do the same lessons for 2 different grades. But I'm doing ukuleles for the first time at this school. And so 4th grade and 5th grade are both beginning levels. So I'm taking them both basically on the same path, and then next year 4th and 5th grade will divide and do different things because the 5th graders will already know what they're doing, and the 4th graders it'll be new. But this year it's new for everybody, so I'm doing the same thing. So these lessons I'm talking about now are for both 4th and 5th grade. In the previous lessons, we learned how to strum, we learned how to hold the ukulele, we learned how to play a C chord and an F chord. That was a lot in 2 little lessons, especially because, like I said, I see them once every 8 days, so for them to remember between lessons is sort of tricky. So what we do in this lesson is we do a quick reminder about strumming. So my sort of challenge there for them is, okay, we're going to play, it's basically an Orff board doing, but we're going to play a C chord, and you're going to do, will you be my friend? And then I have them do, first I just say, as an example, I go, okay, down, 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 up, down. So we're strumming down, 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 up, down. Sorry, I've got a uke. I don't know why I'm doing air ukulele when I've got one. Down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. And then so that's actually pretty easy for them at this point. So they've got their C chord, they're strumming, and say, now you can decide however you want to do the strumming pattern. You can do down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, or you can do down, 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 up, down, or you can do up, down, up, down, up. I don't care, as long as you don't just do this. Down, 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 down. Because some kids will do that. And so I want them to just take this time where all they're focusing on is the C chord, just think about alternate strumming and think about alternating going up and down. So I spend a little bit of time, like a minute, just giving them options and then letting them try that. Okay, so that's where I start. And after strumming, we jump into a quick reminder of C and F. I do chicken on a fence post. I put the words up on the screen along with chord charts above them, so they're getting used to seeing what that looks like. And we start with that, and then they do that, and then we do our ukulele play along, which is a YouTube clip. I talked about this in the last video, but a YouTube clip I found online of the song Best Day of My Life. And it's just pretty simple. It's switching between C and F back and forth. And this is a great chance for me, as they're playing with the video, to walk around, to check hand position, how they're holding the ukulele, what are they struggling with. It's a great chance for me in those 3 or 4 minutes, however long that song is, to check in with a lot of different kids. So it's a fun song, and they like it, and it's review. So after that, then we switch to adding a new chord, and I actually have them play the F chord and hold it, and then we switch to G7. And I do that because then your first finger is a common finger, and you just move that second finger down and add in the third. That's tricky for them, but it's less tricky than if they move every single thing and do a regular G. So we just switch to G7 next, and we do some switching back and forth. We talk about what a chord progression is, and we do C, F, G7, C. And then we do, and that takes a little while, the switching back and forth, getting more fluent with that. And then we do, gosh, I can't even think of the song. Chester, Have You Heard About Harry, which we learned at the beginning of the school year, and we add in that chord progression at the end of the song. One of the things I have tried to do is to get them to the point where they can do the chord progression of C, F, G7, C, and then do it backwards, C, G7, F, C, because there's a fun video online of the song Someone to Lava, which is the cute little digital short video, I think before Moana? I don't know, but it's before a movie, and it's a cute just little video about 2 volcanoes that fall in love, but it has a ukulele accompaniment, and it's super fun. The problem is it only uses C and G7 and F, but it's tricky switching, and it happens really fast for them. So we have not been super successful with that. Probably that should be in the next lesson, but I don't know. I've never taught ukuleles before, so I thought I'd try it, and I pushed them into it, and they've done okay. But I think they'll be better in the next lesson if we bring that back. One thing I want to talk about quickly before I leave this and move on to the next thing to move on to first grade is if you've never tried safeshare.tv, it's a fun service. It's free. Sort of. It's free for like the first 20 videos or something. And what you can do is you can take a YouTube link and put it into safeshare.tv. You create an account, and once you put it in, then it pops out the video. But then if you click on that video's link, you will not get an ad for Groupon or whatever, and you won't get ads on the side, you won't get pop-ups. It'll just play the video only. And it's amazing because I never worry like, oh gosh, what's videos in the sidebar, or, when the video's over and then like up pops like related videos, like what's going to come up that I don't want my students to see. So that doesn't happen on safeshare.tv. Like, it's made for educators. And so it will only play the video, and you can actually go into settings and play it so that once the video ends, it does not autoplay to the next video. So it only plays the videos that you have created links for, and it only plays what you want when you want. It's amazing. I wish that, I wish that I had the premium version so I could just do like a bajillion videos in there. But the cool thing is I think you can do up to 20 videos on the free version and 2 playlists. And so I have my ukulele playlist, and I also did it for my holiday sing-along show. I had videos in there. So it's really easy to use. Try it out. I put a link to that in the video notes. Okay, a couple quick things before we go on to first grade. People have been talking on Facebook about Lynn Kleiner's books, and they're saying, what do you start with? It really depends. Lynn Kleiner's done a lot of really amazing work with like preschool age kids. So if you like that, I know a lot of people like her, it's called like Kids Can Listen, Kids Can Move. That's a good one. There's one In All Kinds of Weather is a good one. I started out with the book SOS, Songs of the Sea, and I love that because it gave me a lot of songs based around that ocean theme that I can use for all grades. Another one that I really like, there's Jungle Beats, but honestly my favorite is SOS, Songs of the Sea. And I think I linked that on the video notes on the Musical Monday recap page on my blog. So check that out. I know you can do a little preview, I think, on Amazon, and look into that a little bit. But it's great because it comes with these really cool recordings. And I love the recordings because it's actually kids singing on a lot of them, and they use Orff instruments for the accompaniment for a lot of it. So it sounds very much like what you will hear in the classroom. There are some where they have adults singing, but a lot of it is kids. And so I think that's super cool. So if you're interested in Lynn Kleiner, those books, check that out, and those are linked. And if you're watching on Instagram, you can go to the link in profile, which is just the link in my profile, and you click it, and that should pop up as a Musical Mondays recap page. You can go and see all those links there. One more thing, if you have joined me midstream, I am doing a giveaway tonight only, the live video only, and it ends by, I think, 8:45, the drawing officially ends, so I can give away those things at the end of the video. If you go to bit.ly/MUSMON211, that's all lowercase, bit.ly/MUSMON211, you can enter, and it ends in just a few minutes. I have never used this service before, and you all are my guinea pigs. Thank you for trying it out. But if you leave the video and come back, my heart will not be hurt if you can't figure out how to do the video and that at the same time. But I'm trying that out because I want to see if it'll work for door prizes and for giveaways in the future. And so we're trying it tonight. Anyway, and I am, again, sorry if you're watching this video 2 or 3 weeks, months, days later, or you're listening to the recap on the podcast and can't win. I'm so sorry. But come back again. There'll be more giveaways. So let me tell you about first grade. So first grade, we're preparing for our upcoming concert. I'm still looking for a name. So if you have a great name for a barnyard concert, I would love it. I would love for you to share that. I don't know, like, nothing is coming up as an amazing start. So I was thinking about, like, just barnyard, I don't know, barnyard fun, or down on Grandpa's farm, or I don't know. So share your ideas. I'd be grateful for them. But it's barnyard themed. So the first song we do, basically we're preparing for this concert without realizing we're preparing for the concert. So my thing with them is I just want to go as long as I can just learning songs and getting songs better before I say the word concert. Because as soon as I say the word concert, they start asking, when is the concert? What do I wear to the concert? How is the far as the way is the concert? Where is the concert? What are we doing about the concert? What about this concert? Oh, are my parents going to be there? Do I have to be there? Like, I just want to learn all the songs. And so we're really not saying that word until I have to, which is basically this week. I have to send a note home saying, like, the concert's a month away. But I go as long as I can without talking about it. So in this lesson, we're just, hey, surprise, all of these songs are about the farm. They just, they don't even think about it. So the first song is Down on Grandpa's Farm. And if you don't know it, it goes like this. Down on Grandpa's farm, there was a little red hen. Down on Grandpa's farm, there was a little red hen. The hen, she made a sound like this. Bark, bark, bark. The hen, she made a sound like this. Bark, bark, bark. And then it goes, we're on our way on our way to Grandpa's farm. We're on our way on our way to Grandpa's farm. Sorry, my ukulele is being weird because my strap's getting in the way. We usually start this song, this is like our second or third week doing it, and so I've slowly added things in. The first time, all I asked them to sing is that little sort of chorus part, the part that goes, we're on our way on our way to Grandpa's farm. We're on our way on our way to Grandpa's farm. And so I sing the rest, and they just come in on the chorus. So that's the first part. And I talk about how when I was little, I lived a mile away from my grandpa, and Grandpa lived on a farm. And that's actually true. I actually did do that. A lot of times I tell stories when I was little. But this is actually true. I actually grew up on a farm, and I lived a mile away from my grandpa's farm. And we talked about how we love going to the farm because there are so many fun things. And so we do Little Red Hen. And then I do Down on Grandpa's farm, there was a little green frog. Down on Grandpa's farm, there was a little green frog. And then of course the frog, he makes a sound like this, ribbit, ribbit. The frog, he makes a sound like this, ribbit, ribbit. So we do that. I do about 3 examples. I do little red hen, little green frog, and then I do black and white cow, and we moo. And then I say, and there's so many other fun things on our farm, like, and at this point kids are like, I have an idea. So they raise their hand and say, what about a cat? Great. What color was the cat? And they go, a black cat. Oh, great. Was it big or was it little? And they go, a little black. Okay, so this will be a little black cat. Yeah. So then we sing their verse and we sing, and whatever the cat would make a sound. And then, someone else gets to go. They get to come up with an animal. I ask them the size and the color, and then we sing it. And if it is an interesting animal, I have rambunctious kids. So if it's something like a unicorn or something, it depends on how much coffee I've had that day. Sometimes I'll say, now what kind of farm is this? Or sometimes I just go, great, and what sound does it make? It just depends on where we're at. But we go through that song. It's a fun little song. Then we do another song about a cow. And for this one, okay, I mentioned this a few weeks ago that the first time I did it, I was doing it with puppets. And I was stressing out. I had a puppet problem. And I was stressing out. The problem was I didn't have enough puppets for the song. And then the second problem was that I immediately was like, where am I going to buy these puppets from? Because I have a puppet problem. So anyway, but I actually ended up with enough sort of puppets to do it. One of the reasons I like puppets is that, I learned in my first couple years teaching, I had a really high English language learner population. And all of the ELL research and all of the teachers I've interacted with and everyone have said, the more that you can use pictures when you use new words, or the more you can use pictures when you're using differentiated vocabulary, the better that those English language learners will pick up. And so if I just said cow, they maybe won't get it. But if I say cow over and over and over, and I have my cow puppet, even though it's really a cartoon and sort of a caricature of what a cow is, it is so great for those English language learners because it gives them a visual. And, so one of the things that they talked about the visual. I don't know if I'm using this term correctly, but they talked about realia is what they kept saying is a real sort of representation of that thing you're talking about. And so I like using puppets for that purpose. Also, they're just super fun, and they are a fun way to introduce concepts and to teach students. But if you don't have puppets, and I've been meaning to share this for a couple weeks, if you don't have puppets, one of the things you can do really easily is go online and buy a really cool set of clip art that matches the theme you're talking about, print it out in color, and then show that to students. So if I were doing this song and I didn't have the puppets, I could go, Farmer Brownie had a cow, had a cow, had a cow, and she got sick, I don't know how. All she said is moo. And I can use the clip art instead of the actual puppet, and this works just as well. And the cool thing about this is that then, if I go in and I print off all of this clip art, I have sort of an endless variety of things that I can show. If I'm like, oh, we're gonna do a duck. Okay, great, well, I've got that, let's see. I've also got a rabbit, okay, and let's see, I've got, oh, perfect, here, a sheep, wonderful. Oh, sorry, there's the sheep. He's sort of derpy looking, but I like him. Okay, let's see, and let's see, oh, I've got, oh, look at this cute little pig. Oh, this little pig, okay, perfect. Or my favorite, honestly, this is one of my favorite clip artists, Ross Vandeval. You can find him on Teachers Pay Teachers. But look at this really angry chick. I love that. Anyway, so I printed all this off. Actually, the last time I did a farm concert, I printed all this clip art off and I used it on a bulletin board. And then when I took it down, I was like, well, I could just file this away for later, for whenever I use it again for a bulletin board. And I realized, no, I should just leave it out where I can grab it. So anytime I do a farm song or a barnyard song or just any song that involves animals, I can pull this out and immediately I have a visual. I don't have to run to my computer. I don't have to turn on the screen. I have something I can pull out and just use with kids. So I have bags like this with printed out clip art on cardstock. I have a bag with farm stuff. I have a bag with ocean stuff. I have a bag with like trees and mountains and weather. I've accumulated them over the years, and so anytime I make a new one, I just sort of put it in a file and keep it handy so that I have that. Anyway, that was a sidebar, but I'm going to show you Farmer Brownie Had a Cow, because that's what came next. And so the way we do it, the first time I introduce it, I do Farmer Brownie had a cow, had a cow, had a cow. She got sick, I don't know how. All she said was moo. And then I say, oh, you poor little cow, what's wrong? Is it your head? Moo, 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 moo. Oh no. Is it your leg? Moo, 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 moo. Oh no, did you hurt your back? Moo, 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 moo. And the kids by now are like, she's got a cough. And I'm like, I don't understand cow. Did you hurt your horn? Moo, 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 moo. I'm like, gosh, I can't think. Do you have a tummy ache? And the kids think that's hilarious because obviously I should know what's wrong. I should know that it's a cough, right? But they think it's hilarious. And then, so what happens is in the next verse, another little animal comes along, and this is the pig. And the pig says, you know, when I was little, my mom would bring me medicine that I would need, and when I took the medicine, I'd feel so much better. So I brought some pig medicine for the cow. And the cow's like, like this is gonna work. But the pig gives it to her, and then the verse goes, her friend the pig brought chocolate cake, chocolate cake, chocolate cake to see if that would help her ache. All she said was moo. Sorry, moo. And the first couple times, I just do a regular moo. The moo sort of changes. I see that someone is asking about the giveaway. I'm gonna just check and see if I can change that. But she just does moo the first couple times. Eventually that changes to all she said was moo, and she jumps up an octave, which is super fun when the kids get it. But I just start with just a regular moo, just on the one pitch, and then eventually I bump it up the octave. But I want them to learn it first. If I start with that octave jump, they just go moo. But if I start with just all she said is moo, then they get it, and then when we do the jump up, then they're a lot better at it. So the pig brings chocolate cake to help her ache. And then I didn't have a hen puppet, so I just used the rooster, and I called him a chicken, which is technically correct. So her friend the chicken brought an egg, brought an egg, brought an egg to see if that would help her leg. All she said was moo. And they sing, hey, 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 wouldn't you say that would make it go away? Hey, 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 wouldn't you say that's all for today? They do their little hey, 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 wouldn't you say, because they're saying, you know, wouldn't you think this medicine would help? And the chicken's like, and they, you know, that, yeah, this medicine helps me, so why wouldn't it help the cow, right? So at the end of the verse, that's all for today. Hey! And so then each animal does their own version of the hey. That's all for today, oink, says the pig. Or that's all for today, says the rooster. The next animal that comes out, again, I didn't have a duck puppet, so I had to resort to this duck castanet, which is not as good. Her friend the duck brought some bread, brought some bread, brought some bread to see if that would help. What would that help? The pig brought cake to help her tummy ache. And the rooster brought an egg to help her leg. Bread to help her. Bread to help her. And the kids are like, head, right? Head. Like, so I'm just sort of, I do that so that then I'm like, you need to think about what rhymes. Like, I don't say that, but, you know, they get that. And so they give them the thing. It doesn't help her out. So, sorry. Cow. But then we sing, hey, 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 wouldn't you say that would make it go away? Hey, 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 wouldn't you say that's all for today? And the duck gets to do his little quack at the end, because when a duck says hey, it sounds like quack. Okay, so then the last little friend that comes out is this sheep. And this is a little trickier. So Her friend the sheep brought some grain, brought some grain, brought some grain. So first of all, I have to explain what grain is because these kids don't know what grain is. So we talk about that. And then I say, what would grain help? And they go, and they have to think about, and most of the kids, it's funny, I was like all geared up for them to say pain, but they all said brain, which was correct. And then the PE teacher, well, I mean, because it rhymes. And then the PE teacher's daughter was like, sprain? And I was like, oh, that would work. Okay, great. Also, that'd be fine. So it's funny because then they're coming up with words that, that could maybe be the cow hurt and what rhymes with grain. And so that's always fun to see what they come up with. We end up doing pain. And so, hey, wouldn't you say? And then at the end she goes, bah. So the last verse is, now you may want to sing some more, sing some more, sing some more. She can't sing, her voice is sore, 'cause all she said is moo. And then we do our hey, wouldn't you say one more time? And she sings. And eventually I say, oh, do you need some cough medicine? Moo, moo. What I didn't realize is this is a Melissa and Doug puppet, which is super fun, but it's just sort of simple, right? And when my hand is in there, it's basically doing this, right? And so it's really awkward to do this with your hand inside of a puppet for 15 minutes or whatever long it takes. So I usually sort of just do something else, like, oh, my head hurts, so But one time I was doing this, I was trying to gesture like, oh no, thinking like it would look like, oh no. But what the kids kept saying was, oh no. And they're like, she's dabbing. And I was like, oh rats, she is dabbing. Anyway, fun things happen when you're using puppets. But these puppets are really super fun and simple. And like I said, I use them because I want kids to see that actual image of that thing and have sort of a connection to that. The last thing we do in this lesson, we do Old McDonald Had a Farm. And the first time we do Old McDonald Had a Farm just with a regular, thing that they've done before. So I usually start out with I had kids say like, cow. The first verse is cow. It should be cow. And I'm like, okay, you've been watching too many YouTube videos because there is no it should be first because everyone does their own way. But whatever. You can say that. But a lot of kids tell me cow goes first, so sometimes I'll do cow first. But I actually like to do dog first because eventually I'm going to use cow later. So, Old McDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And I do this version first with an actual animal because I want them to get the process of, this part, with a woof woof here and a woof woof there. Raise your hand if that never goes well for your class. For some reason, they just can't do it. I don't understand. All of my classes, they have trouble with that sequence, with a woof woof here and a woof woof there, here a woof, there a woof, everywhere a woof woof. Please, like or wave or something if that happens to your class, because every single class I've had that trouble. And I don't know what it, maybe I have a kindergarten teacher teaching a different version in my building, I don't know. But anyway, so we do that so that they can get that with a woof woof here and a woof woof there, here a woof, there a woof, everywhere a woof woof. Because that's going to come back in a big way in just a second. Okay, I see people saying that also happens to them. That's good to know. It's not just me. So anyway, we do one verse with the dog or whatever because that is our basis. Then from there, I say, you know what? This is a very special. This is a very special farm. On this farm, Old McDonald has some sort of interesting animals. Guess what? They're musical animals. And so I pull out some musical animals, and I start with this one. Old McDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on that farm he had a frog, E-I-E-I-O, with a here and a there, here and there and everywhere and Old McDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Now, what I have that's special is I have enough frog. I call these frog weeros, but I've heard people call them frog rasps. And I looked that up, and it's an interchangeable word. I thought I freaked out because someone was like, do you mean rasp? And I was like, I don't know, do I? And as far as I can tell, weero and rasp is used interchangeably, at least on the music store websites. But anyway, I have enough of these for about 8 kids. So I have different sizes. I've got this one, which is sort of a medium size. I've got these little tiny, they're so adorable. These little tiny like baby frogs, like these super small ones, and they sound like this. Super cool. I got these on, I think, westmusic.com. And then just a few weeks ago at Missouri Music Educators, I got King Frog, which is an 8-inch frog. And it's amazing. It sounds like this. And I love it. And so I hold this one, the kids hold the other one. Eventually I let kids hold this one, they do it. But it is still too new at this point to let kids touch it. So just kidding. The kids use it. But we do this, and then we all together sing that verse again of the frog, and then with a here and a there, and we do the weiro part in place of what would be the actual animal sound. And we do that, and then we put it down, and we do New Animal. So I just had to show you, this is King Frog. They call him King Frog. Like in my first class, they're like, that's King Frog. And I was like, I will forever call it that. I think it's hilarious. And then at the end of that first class, like without my prompting, they were like, all hail King Frog, all hail King Frog. And I was like, well, for sure I'm going to call it that now. Anyway, before I leave the Weeros, I also found this from the Music is Elementary booth at Missouri Music Educators, and you can get it on their website if you search Music is Elementary, and it's a pig, and it sounds like this. It's got like 2 different sort of Weiro raspy things up here, and I don't know if you do, I don't know, together it sort of does sound like a pig. It's sort of cool. Anyway, I always put the little stick beater thing in the side holes, but this one inconveniently has a hole in his bottom. So kids, I don't ever like encourage them to stick it there because that's inconvenient for me and weird, and then they have butt jokes. But anyway, so they just put it inside. I don't usually let kids use this one very much, but I wanted to show you that one just for fun. So then we move on to the next animal, and the next animal is a duck. Because, again, I have a whole class set of these little duck castanets, and so with a here and a there, so we use the ducks. And some of these ducks, I mean, these are old. They've been around a really long time. Not all of them have both eyes anymore. Sometimes their little eyes have popped off. And I was like, do I just pull those out or whatever? And then one day I was worrying because I was like handing them out. I was like, oh, kids are going to get the one without an eye, and then they're going to ask where that happens to his eye. And one little girl goes, mine is winking. And I looked, and she had one of the ones without an eye, and I was like, yes, that is what happened. It is winking. Perfect. So these have been in my classroom forever. I know, Lauren, I see you're asking, where did you find the duck castanets? You can get them online. The brand is called Kids Play. But they're like $8 a castanet. They are not cheap. You can get, I think there are also frogs and penguins. But if you can't find them, let me know. I'll help you find them. They're sort of cool, and I'm feeling like they're going to last forever. I had to replace the elastic last year, but they're in really pretty good condition, but they're sort of expensive. So we do that, and then, so we've done frogs, and we've done ducks, and then we do eggs. And I say, I don't know what's going to come out of these eggs because they're sort of weird egg colors. Most eggs aren't colored like this. What do you think might come out? And we talk about different animals that come from eggs, that hatch from eggs. They're like, I don't know, it's a snake? Could be, I don't know. What, an alligator? Maybe, sure. A bird? Could be, I don't know. You know, so we go through, well, all those things come from eggs. And so that's sort of fun. And then they decide, a lot of kids decide it's a rattlesnake because it makes that sound, but one class was convinced it was like unicorns or velociraptors or something. So we do egg, and then we do the shaking sound for the egg. And the last thing we do is cow. And I say, cow, I don't know if I have an instrument for cow. Wait, and then I pull out my cowbell. And we talk about why, cows wore a cowbell. And originally they wore it around their necks so you could hear them and find where they were. And that would scare off predators because predators didn't like the sound. But instead, the kids hold the cowbell and they get to play. Here and a there, here a, there a, everywhere a. And of course, one thing I forgot to mention, at the end of each verse, I let them play it again. Because if kids are like standing there, like so politely, with a here and a there, here a, there a, everywhere a, Old McDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Now put that down and don't play it. Like that's the kid's worst nightmare. So I say E-I-E-I-O, okay, play it again. Great, now go take it over to the box. And then they put it away and they don't play it as much. If they know they're gonna get a chance at the end to just do it one more time and just really go for it, then they do. And it's the same for all those instruments. So we ended up doing the frog, the duck castanet, the eggs, and the cowbells. If you can think of any other amazing classroom instruments that would match that theme, I would love for you to share that, because I think I'm down to these 4 ideas. I don't think I could maybe do fish with the other wee rows, maybe, but that's sort of stretching it. So if you have any other great ideas of things that I could use based on the instruments I already have, I'd love that. But those are the 4 we're gonna go with, and we're gonna do that at a concert, and I have enough for at least about 8 to 12 per instrument, so I can do a whole class. So one class can come up, be the featured class with the instruments, and the rest of the kids can sing. That's my hope. Becky's asking, how is G-U-I-R-O pronounced? I think it's Wiro, but I don't know. So I just think Guiro is not right. So I'm just not saying that, and I'm hoping it's right. But I've heard Wiro, so I don't know. We'll see. If you have another idea, please correct me and how it's supposed to actually be. So those are my thoughts about this particular concert cycle. Like I said, thank you so much for the people I see who have given me ideas for the different things that you can do, the different like names for the concert, because I'm just out of ideas. I've seen some people in here give things like Barnyard Bonanza, Barnyard Bash, Farmer Joe and the Music Show. Oh, I've never heard of that book. I'll have to check that one out. All Around the Barnyard. Love that. Play on the All Around the Brickyard. Barnyard Boogie. Ooh, so many good ones. Oh, someone was saying Guiro. Great. Okay, well, I'm going to go with one of those. I bet if you look it up on YouTube, it would just tell you right away and I would not say it wrong again. Okay, so thanks for hanging out. Before I go, I am sending out that door prize. If you were able to enter, great. And the 3 people who are getting it are Joanna Gray and Beth. Let me see if I can see your name. Oh, nope, can't see your name. Hold on. Beth and Delmar. I thought I had your name there. Oh, Beth Ann Delmar. And Hannah Johnson. So you 3, check your email, and in just a little bit, you'll be getting that prize. Thank you so much for trying out that door prize thing. I will do another one of those in the future. If you're like, I didn't get to enter, I'm sorry. This is the first time I've ever done it. So I'll get better at that and share that again. If you're in Texas, I hope that I'll see you at TMEA on Friday. And if you're not in Texas, I hope I'll see you sometime. But I'm real excited about TMEA, 10 o'clock in the Texas ABC Ballroom, and I hope I'll see you there. If you have questions or comments going forward with these ideas or lessons, shoot me an email. My email is makemomentsmatter@gmail.com, or you can also just comment on this video if you're watching the video, and I will come back in a week or 2 weeks or whenever you leave the comment and try and leave a little response for you. So thanks so much for joining me tonight. I hope I'll see so many of you Texans this week, and we can have Tex-Mex and be best friends. All right, thanks so much for watching, everyone. Have a great night.